That's probably my favorite song right now. That's new music from Gorillaz from their new record, Plastic Beach. That's Super Fast Jellyfish featuring the lead singer of Super Furry Animals, Gruff Reese, and De La Soul. The sea is radioactive. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the B-side of episode 171 for Media Monarchy. My name is James Evan Pilato. I'm your host and webmaster of the site and show, MediaMonarchy.com. It's May 28th, 2010, and we are recording live from the Portland Radio Authority, praradio.org. With so much to go over, that's why we do these extra B-side episodes. Too much to keep track of, and lucky for you, I do the hard work and do the data mining and get it all together and put it in a nice bite-sized form. Don't waste time, like the song says. And what we're going to do for the majority of this 171B is visit all the latest news from my two sister sites, cyberspacewar.com, and first we're going to hit all the latest on foodworldorder.com. First, we want to note, and this is cross-posted on Food World Order and Media Monarchy, I recently had an interview with author and occult researcher Tracy Twyman. Her relatively new podcast is called The Invisible Hand. Our discussion, and that's why this is cross-posted on foodworldorder.com, focuses pretty much entirely on the subject of weaponized food, including the fact that rats fed genetically modified food were found to be unable to breed after the third generation, and the fact that, according to the Daily Mail, 1 in 5 men is now unable to breed, a problem they say could lead to the rapid extinction of the human race within a few generations. We also talked about aspartame, high fructose corn syrup, water filtration, the doomsday seed vault, the war on organic farming, Newman's Own organic fakery, and the genocidal tendencies of the ruling oligarchy. All that and so much more in the recent Media Monarchy interview with Tracy Twyman. It's all linked up, tracytwyman.com. That's TWYMAN. And again, that follows the theme, because she's from right here in Oregon as well, as we've been talking about in the last several weeks, trying to turn the virtual connections and the virtual friends into real-world meat space friends. And so we've been talking and meeting up with now Tracy Twyman, Andrew Hoffman, Douglas Lane, and more and more. So again, the last I'll say about that is if you subscribe to the feeds and put it into iTunes or your podcatcher or your feed reader or whatever you use, you won't miss a thing and you won't waste time. This next disgusting story comes by way of the San Francisco Guardian. California throws away enough food to fill 35 stadiums per year. Now, as Cryptagon.com notes, as well as the technofascismblog.com, keep this story in mind the next year, the next time you hear nonsense from people like Bill Gates insisting we need genetically modified crops to feed the hungry world. Again, from the San Francisco Guardian, vast amounts of food trashed despite incentives. Farmers, restaurants, supermarkets throw away millions of tons of edible food each year at a time when a growing number of Californians struggle to put food on their table. More than 6 million tons of food products are dumped annually, enough to fill the Staples Center in L.A. 35 times over. Food is the largest single source of waste in California, making up 15.5% of the state's waste stream, according to the California Integrated Waste Management Board. And an examination by CaliforniaWatch.org and the Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism at the University of Southern California found shortcomings along California's food distribution chain that allows vast amounts of food to go to waste in landfills despite incentives that encourage food donations. Now, 3 quick bullet points among the findings. Millions of tons of fruit and vegetables rot in fields and orchards or are plowed over each year. Some of these edible crops are left behind because they are misshapen or discolored. Gleaning programs rescue only a small portion of the field waste. Fresh fruit for rotting vegetables. Point 2, major retail grocery chains are more likely to throw away fruits, vegetables, and even entire hams and roasts than donate to distribution centers. While federal and state laws protect grocers from liability, many stores were concerned that donated food could sicken recipients even if it had not reached its expiration date. While some major food chains donate food, others do not. And the last point, restaurants dump tens of thousands of tons of edible food every year. The vast majority of the state's 90,000 restaurants do not participate in food donation programs. Marinate on that, if you will. Our last post on foodworldorder.com this week is the Binge and Purge for May 27th, BPA and PBR. And we're going to start it off with an article from allgov.com. A can of Del Monte green beans sets toxic BPA record. A federally unregulated industrial chemical considered by consumer advocates to be dangerous to human health has been found in 90% of canned food sold in the U.S. A study by the National Work Group for Safe Markets randomly examined 50 cans from 19 states and 1 province in Canada and discovered virtually all the foods contained bisphenol A, BPA, which has been tied to cancer, reproductive abnormalities, diabetes, birth defects in laboratory animals. One can in particular of Del Monte French-style green beans from a store in Wisconsin had the highest level of BPA ever recorded. 1,140 parts per billion. Other canned foods with unusually high levels of BPA were Walmart's Great Value green peas purchased in Kentucky and Healthy Choice old-fashioned chicken noodle soup bought in Montana. You can get more from the National Work Group for Safe Markets. You can download the PDFs. No silver lining. On down the list of disgusting stories, and again, we find a lot of our stories from just a few sources that do great work covering a broad spectrum, such as foodsafetynews.com. Nescafe Espresso recalled for glass. That's right. The best part of waking up is glass down your throat. Alfalfa sprouts recalled in 18 states. Salmonella sickens 23. The Defense Department apparently has a 26-page brownie recipe. More on that from consumerist.com. It's all about making them stable and last long in travel and transit and wartime. Apparently NPR made them and they ain't that good. Surprise. Another surprise from Food Safety News. Monsanto gets FDA okay for new soybeans. And alert, we could probably spend a lot of time on this. Hipsters, you should know now that PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon, sold to food kingpin C. Dean Metropoulos. And lastly on Food World Order, importantly, and this is a story we've just touched on briefly, but you can follow the flashbacks and follow the links through Food World Order on Coca-Cola's murderous record of anti-union activity in Colombia exposed. More on that from naturalnews.com, but we also have a clip going along with that, a new documentary discussing just this, and it's called The Coca-Cola Case.